This is FanSpeak, a weekly live show where the fans of comics and its community are our guests. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this show. This is Chester C. Busby III, welcoming you to FanSpeak, of course. And we have ourselves a very interesting show, of course. We're going to be talking as well here to Eric Hawkins about his Zombieful World of Oz, and that should be interesting to get into. We got a few other things, including a trailer. Oh, my. A trailer. Nevertheless, everybody, we're happy to have you here, and welcome. Please do us a favor and check out those links down below. Of course, our 1-2 FanSpeak there for Facebook is a big one. That is growing. We're over 180 people involved in that, and that is awesome. I do see that the very first person here to comment today is MAGA Teen Joshua. Hail Trump, hail Raven. Awesome. All right. Nice to see you, Joshua. And I think you need to mix it up. You don't have enough sock accounts. I need to see something unique and interesting from you today, sir. Work on that. All right. But nevertheless, welcome everybody. And of course, hitting those like buttons and subscribe buttons are always appreciated. But the thing that helps us the most is you hitting that share button and letting all your friends and family and extended community know so they come and join us. But we are going to be jumping into things here real quickly. But I want to go over here and say hello to the panel first, of course. And let's start with George. Hey, George.
Greetings, everybody. Just making it short and sweet.
Yeah, short and sweet's fine. Short and sweet. Of
Great,
course, we also. Okay. We also have, of course, the Denali Lama with us. How you doing, dude?
I'm doing wonderful. Raring to go.
Raring to go. All right. And we got our guest with us today as well. We have, of course, Eric Hawkins with us. How you doing, Eric?
Good. Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, no, it's a pleasure. I've been enjoying talking with you over on the Fan Edition Drawn and Quartered and seeing your amazing art, so that's really cool. And today we're going to be talking about your project, but we are going to do something first, though. I think we're going to get a couple more minutes here. But I do see Pope Fire is in here, and she says, lol, I made more, yo, Pope Fire, yo. A conversation between Joshua and Pope. Awesome. Now, I'm really kind of curious. How does Joshua's jump between sock accounts so quickly? I don't know anything about sock accounts, but he does it so fast. Has he got like a ton of windows open or something? How does that work?
Pretty much different browser, different accounts.
That sounds like a lot of work.
Nah?
Okay. Well, good on you, dude.
Once you get used to it, it's like second nature.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds like experience. All right. There we go. Sock puppet people. We've got Brian Hawkins in here as well. Hello. Well, I believe that's your brother.
That is my brother, yes.
Is he going to be good today?
He's always good.
Is he? Okay. Keep an eye on him. Glad to have you here, Brian. We have MoxRox 1103 in here. What's good channel? Well, dude, we are good, and we got some interesting content today. And we got a few people in here, so I think we might as well go ahead and start. Now, as usual, when we have guests, we usually start right off with a guest, but we're going to do that a little bit differently today. And we're down a chairman, so we're not going to have the chairman's speech, I guess. If he shows up a little later, we'll jump into that. But we're going to start out with a trailer. And we're going to start out spicy, I think. But we do see your favorite troll, Joshua. Okay, there you go. That's a new one. I like that. I should have probably changed this one's name to Joshua, the best troll ever. I think that would be good. Yeah. But I have fire questions for the guests. We know you do, Pope. We know you do. And you do realize, Pope, you could just jump in here with us, right? You're always welcome. You have the link. But nevertheless, guys, we're going to come over and we're going to look at a trailer first. And I have a feeling this is going to cause some angst. I do apologize. But it is what it is. It's necessary. It needs to be done. Now, where did I put that? Let me find it here. Oh, here it is. Nope. Hold on. I know I got it here somewhere. Give me a second. There it is.
Well, right, while you're doing that, make sure to share with the panel.
I will, of course. I'm going to be sharing. And do keep in mind, panel, that although you'll be able to see this visually, I cannot loop sound back into you in this Streamlabs format. So you're going to have to listen to it on the other side. Therefore, I suggest you just watch it in general on the YouTube's front page. That would probably be better. Unfortunately, the people on YouTube, of course, can hear. All right, guys. here we are. Star Wars 9 official trailer, the Rise of Skywalker movie. Now I haven't seen it. Everybody else has seen it, and they've been yammering on about it. So this is my first time watching it, and I don't know, Chad. Am I going to? No, I'm getting boos already. They're already booing, and the dog is upset as well. Oh no. All right, fine. Well, here we go, guys. Let's oof. I'm clicking it. It's happening. Okay, we got someone's out of breath. You got, sex in Star Wars. That's usually not. Oh, okay, it's not sex. All right. Well, she's a lot older. She still looks like a 12-year-old boy, though, with makeup
passed
even.
on all we know.
She looks 13 now.
13? Okay, okay, so she's gained a year.
Generations live in you now.
Ew.
But this is your fight.
It's interesting how they have makeup in the middle of the desert, Where there's a will, there's a way, I suppose. Ooh, it's Arizona.
This generation's legend is going to be a character from Fortnite.
Maybe. Or Overwatch.
No, it's not Overwatch. It's not.
Okay, she's
Fortnite,
running
the kids
poorly. She doesn't do athletic stuff.
Oh, she really doesn't. Oh, that was bad.
And that ship was flying very low, unnecessarily.
They do visual effects for guys running fast using the Force. They don't do it.
Hey, that's a good sign. Lando's in it.
Yeah, but like,
I wonder if he
they
knows
killed
that
everybody
he's
else off. So.
I wonder if he knows that he's pansexual now. Someone should have told him.
Always be with you.
Yeah,
No.
exactly.
No one's ever really gone.
No one's ever really gone. Thanks, Luke. So Luke is the bad, evil ghost now?
No,
No.
that
Hi,
was the
everyone.
end of the class.
Hello, Thundaro.
Oh, so is she an actual Skywalker now? I'm confused by that title, because didn't they kill off the last Skywalker?
That's the point of the title, to confuse you.
Yeah.
Actually, make you
But
think
there's
they-
people
Kylo
who
Ren
think
is actually a Skywalker.
Yeah.
He is a Skywalker.
There's people who
Yeah,
He's a solo.
yeah,
There's
his last
he's-
name
he's
is
half
Solo. It's
Skywalker.
not.
there's people who think that that laugh at the end is Palpatine. I think it's Snoke. That's what it sounds like
No,
to
no,
me.
no, it is
No,
Palpatine.
it's Palpatine.
It's Palpatine because the actor who's Palpatine was at the Star
Yeah.
Wars Festival, and he came out after the first showing of the trailer, and he said it in his character voice one more time, and then they played the trailer again. So he's in the movie.
Yes.
Well, but I know everyone here has a lot of opinions on that trailer and things to say, and I'm going to kind of step out of the way of that. But I have to just give my initial reaction. That was pretty uninspiring, actually. I've never seen a
Yes.
Star Wars trailer that didn't move me. It's weird. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't really know what to say about it.
I mean,
Uh,
the trailer has kind of describes how I've been feeling about Star Wars the last few years.
Yeah.
Uninterested.
Yeah, right.
'Cause of-
And we have Moxrox says that who is the cute 12-year-old boy in the skirt with a lightsaber and the bun hairdo? I believe that's called Ray. But right, but then again, I think they chose her specifically, Daisy Ridley, because she's almost androgynous in a way. She's not a very feminine thing. And they do everything in it to take any of the feminine qualities and drop them in her. Now I don't know why they decided to go with this kind of androgynous look for the lead character, but they did. I don't understand the reasoning behind it, but it is what it is. But it's not her fault. I don't blame Daisy. Someone comes, hey, you want to be in Star Wars? She says, yes, please. And why would I blame her for that? So
I'll
it's not her
disagree
fault.
with you there. I think she can be pretty. I do agree with you on the part that they do design the women in these more modern movies to be a little more boyish. But I do think that like her and a whole bunch of the other characters, when they're not on the set of Star Wars, they're actually pretty attractive.
I'm sure she can. I've seen her in real life, and she's
Mhm.
just not an attractive girl. That's okay. I mean, it's not. She's not an ugly human. I'm just saying she's not feminine. There's nothing sexy about Daisy Ridley. I mean, from a man's point of
Correct.
view, Popefire, and that's okay. I mean, she doesn't have to be, but I'm just saying that they made that choice quite deliberately. I think her acting is fine. She's not a great actor. She's not a bad actor. She's fine. It's just she doesn't have that je ne sais quoi. She doesn't have that X factor, that charisma to carry. She just doesn't have it at all. You would
Mm.
think that would have been the number one thing they would look for in their lead, no matter what gender, what race, or whatever. It would have been for someone who had that amazing X factor, and she doesn't bring it at all. Now Kylo Ren, that dude, he's got X factor just spilling off him.
Yes.
Yeah, he is quite attractive.
Well, and is he? I find he's like a weird, almost hunchback mutant looking dude. Well, he is,
I think when you just
but
see
he's
his face,
charismatic.
he's got a nice face.
No, he
Everything
doesn't.
else is bad.
He's
No,
got a
I
nice
like
face.
his face.
Lopsided Popefire.
No, I
He's-
like his face.
The reason I'm going to tell you right now, the reason she thinks that so strongly is because of what you're talking about. He's very charismatic. It oozes out of him, and he's also a really good guy. He's a really good dude. So you can just feel that in him when you watch him. That's one of the reasons I don't like him as Kylo, because I don't believe it. When I look at him, I don't see him as the character he's supposed to be.
Wow. And it's interesting. These guys in the chat are agreeing with you. Mox Rock is saying she's supposed to be the child of Palpatine. No kidding. Seriously, the child of Palpatine. Really? Anyway, I'm going to shut up. Just let me shut up because I know people here have an opinion. So who should I let loose first? I know where I'm going to end up. I know where I'm going to end. But let's start with Thundar. Go ahead, man. Give us.
I knew you were going to start with me. I'm the same boat. It does nothing for me. When they murdered Luke, they murdered any interest I have in Star Wars. It would have been fine if Luke would have went out heroically and decently, and was something that could leave me respecting the character. But they took that all away throughout the course of that last movie, so I have no interest in it. The opening scene of that trailer, where she's waiting for the what looks like a TIE interceptor or whatever it is to come at her, that looks pretty cool. I don't understand why we couldn't get anything that cool in the other movies, but that does look pretty cool.
I also don't understand why a flying vehicle wouldn't just take the advantage of being a flying vehicle and shoot her from the sky.
Well,
Oh,
now
please,
you're
come
just
on, guys. If
ridiculous.
that was Luke, going up against a TIE interceptor, he wouldn't be jumping on it. He'd just slice the thing in half.
Or he would
Correct.
just reach up and crush it like Thanos crushes
Exactly.
boats. Okay.
Exactly.
Because this
It's literally just a shot to show off cool lightsaber
It
effects
is.
as she jumps in the
It
air.
is.
That's
yeah,
all.
Yeah, yeah. But the sad thing about it, if they actually followed the storyline of what happens to Luke after, literally, if Luke was sitting there, which he should have been, Luke literally would just reached up and crushed it out of the sky. But that's how powerful he becomes, dude. He's just
Right.
ridiculously powerful, and they do cool things with him too. It's like wow.
The only thing that I'm interested in is that laugh at the end, because if it is Palpatine, that means we are going to get to see Palpatine, or at least hear him. And it's an interesting idea. It's called Rise of the Skywalker, or whatever, Rise of Skywalker. What does that mean? Does that mean the family?
No.
Does that
no,
mean
well,
Luke
okay.
returns somehow? What does that mean?
No, what you don't know is in canon, Palpatine is the grandfather. Anakin is the father. Luke is the son.
Yeah, but is that still canon? Because they erased pretty much
no,
all of
it's
the canon besides
no,
what you see on the screen.
Let's be fair.
No, it is.
Now, J.J. Abrams
created it.
is walking uphill against what Ryan Johnson did, right?
That's what I'm saying. I think even the title is a giveaway that this is basically a great retcon of the last movie. I mean, he's going to change as much as he can to make that movie much more palatable, because so many people hated it. It's still probably the most hated Star Wars movie of all time.
Oh, easily.
It won't go away easy, but I think that's Abrams' main goal, is just to get that taint off of the franchise as much as he can.
Yeah. What do you think, Pope? Give your opinion.
Okay, I'm a lot younger than the people here, so I grew up on the trilogies. I did watch the originals. Actually, the first time I watched the originals was when I was waiting to go to the hospital because my brother had dropped me on a piano. Long story, but for that. But I'm not. I haven't seen a Star Wars movie since Episode 7. I bought it on DVD, and I paused it halfway through, and I never finished it. I am not interested in these new. I have never Every other Star Wars movie that I have watched it 6 or 7 times, even Episode 1. And granted, I was a child when that came out, but I'm not gonna see these movies. I'm not interested in Star Wars anymore, which is kind of sad because that was something that I did grow up on as a child, and I did read some Star Wars comics. I still have some in some of my boxes. I mean, I am kind of interested in the Palpatine's laugh, but again, it's on the same interest as I am reading Heroes in Crisis, which is a bare minimum.
Oh wow, my
So-
God! Don't read that. It'll burn your brain. It's not good for you. It's unhealthy. No, that
Nothing
hit,
I've
that
got
Heroes in
for-
Crisis is horrible. Anyway, I don't want to get on the sidetrack. Go ahead, George.
Yeah, I'm very sad. That's all it is. And so far, nothing is redeemable. They ruined 7. They ruined 8 royally, and 9. It looks like they're trying to do a hat trick here. I don't buy it. There's only one Star Wars, and that is A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. Everything else is just fan fiction.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, it does. And I agree with Dillard here in the chat. Abram is such a boss. He shows up and fixes the prequels and makes Star Wars cool again. I know he's gonna come back and fix Episode 9 Legend. I'm not the hugest J.J. Abrams fans, and I understand that the Force Awakens isn't the greatest movie, but it is a watchable movie, and I do get how a certain generation might like it. So I have no. I'm not against JJ in that way. And if he comes in and he's able to turn this around to at least be a mediocre acceptance of this disaster of a trilogy, then he is a freaking legend, dude.
I honestly think there's only one way he could possibly do that, and he has to somehow redeem what they did with Luke.
Yeah,
it has
I
to be
know.
retconned.
It's
Absolutely
rough.
must
And-
be.
And come on, let's
Okay,
have a little sympathy for JJ, right?
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yeah.
In the comics, didn't Palpatine have like a clone or something, or?
Yes, he did. Yes, he
Yeah,
did.
he did.
Okay,
I
so
think he had
yeah.
multiple.
And it wasn't just the comics; it was actually from Timothy Zane's Heir to the Empire that kicked off the expanded universe, where he had a
Right.
facility of clones.
See, that's what I'm interested with this new movie about. Sorry.
Mhm.
Little sidetrack.
Yeah, we have to see, but and that's pronounced air, not hair. Denali, God. All right, Eric, give us your opinion, dude.
My opinion, okay, I'll be honest with you, I did like the trailer, but you know, I was born in '71. Star Wars was the very first movie I ever saw in the theaters. I had the toys, I had the Millennium Falcon. My brother had the Death Star playset. And so I have a special childhood fondness of Star Wars. I hated The Last Jedi. I despised it. I came out of the theater going, what did I just watch? Force Awakens, I liked. I did like it. I mean, it might have been just because I got to see Han Solo on the screen again. But, you know, I'm looking forward to see if Abrams can turn it around.
So am I.
I think he can. I'm hoping he can. I mean, and I didn't go see Rogue One in theaters. I did when it came on DVD. I watched it. I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
The Solo movie, I didn't think it was horrible.
I thought it was.
I kind of liked it. I didn't care for the kid playing Han Solo, but I kind of liked it.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
I'm going to take bets right now on anybody who wants to throw in. We didn't get to see all 3 of them back together again, and that was a huge complaint. They were never on screen together again, and largely just because of Carrie Fisher's death. But how much you want to bet they're going to cheat, and they're going to give a CGI some form of ghosts or something with Han and everybody else?
He wouldn't, dude. He promised. He wouldn't.
He's promised a lot of things too, and look where we're at now.
But didn't her say she already filmed all her parts before her death, though?
Here's a few things.
She filmed most of them.
Here's a few things about J.J. Abrams. He lies 100%. No offense or buts. Secondly, he is a master at regurgitating our existing content. Everything the guy has done, and I kid you not, if you look back at his entire volume of work, all he has done is take an existing idea or existing product, and he just put a little spin on it. Episode 7 is exactly like A New Hope. That's all he did. That's all he does. He did it with Mission Impossible. He
Yeah, but
does it with everything he gets his hands on. He's not creating anything new. He has never done that.
no, he doesn't. But do keep in mind, JJ also cannot finish a story. Does not have the
Yes.
ability to finish anything. Let me catch this chat
True.
real quick, and then we're going to have to take a breath here. Hold on a second. Let's see here. Era says that I love the Timothy Zahn books. Yeah. Roger Hill says I have a Star Wars title for us. It's Ghost Riders Destroy the Star Wars Universe. I think Denali's going to get into that in a moment. Bullet says old Ben. Hair today, going tomorrow. Ha ha, jokes. John Millen says that Rogue One was trash. I kind of liked it as a standalone. Maybe I liked the last bit where Darth Vader absolutely rocked. But anyway, there's a bunch of comments. Everyone's on the Star Wars here. Let's see. Moxrock says Rogue One was the best thing they have put in Star Wars with a series of trilogies. Yes, I agree with that. They've done so far. Solo, I didn't like it at all. Rogue One was the best new Star Wars movie. Yes, I agree, Bullet. I walked out halfway through Phantom Menace opening night and haven't seen one since. Zach says. Zach Hawkins. Yeah, no, those prequels were made for kids, though. You got to keep in mind he was really making them for a very young audience. And if you look at it through that lens, you can understand it. The only thing I think that really killed the prequels was that boy, Christian Haydenson. Is that his name?
Hayden Christensen.
Hayden
Yeah.
Christensen. I had it backwards. And that
Revenge of the Sith would have easily been, in almost everybody's mind, one of the best Star Wars movies if it wasn't for his acting. His acting was horrible in that movie.
He's just an annoying human. And that Natalie Portman girl, she's a horrible actress as well. And it's just miscasting, I think, is what killed them.
You guys just hate everything I love.
True. Oh, hey, we got Lou Illustrations. I haven't seen you in a long time, dude. Is it my speaker or is there a waterfall in the background? I think there's a waterfall, but doesn't it feel zen, doesn't it? Because we need some Zen Peace right now. You know why? Because I'm about to turn this over to Denali. Go ahead, dude.
All right. So this is going to feel like this chairman speech, but in the negative, where he's positive. So I would like to quote Padme, who I guess a lot of us don't like, from the good movie of the prequels, which was Revenge of the Sith, where she states, "So this is how liberty dies, with a thunderous applause." And why do I say that? Because when they finished showing that trailer, there was thunderous applause. And all I could see was, you are cheering with Palpatine. How apropos was that? You're cheering, Palpatine is there, and you're seeing just the depth of what you knew of what's going to be with Star Wars. What Star Wars is going to be, because they're going to, if you think that they destroyed it with The Last Jedi, like John Malin does with his Twitter, where he's saying, "Hold my beer," this movie is going to say, "Hold my beer." And you know why? Because you start out with validation that Rey is the Mary Sue, where everything, the whole bloodline, the Jedi teaching, everything culminates into her. Part 2, you're showing pandering of Lando Calrissian. What is he going to do? He's going to be there for a few minutes and die. Guarantee it. 3, he's already using the hug from Force Awakens to show that she is a Skywalker like it was supposed to be. That's why they purposely had the hug at the beginning. 4, we already know from JJ's interviews that there was no plan. Whatever plan was there was chucked out. This was never Star Wars. This was agenda-driven, and this is, of course, going to be agenda-driven. 5, from my sources that said about this movie, they're going to bring in Palpatine as a dark side Force user, and you're going to have a epic batter of light side Force users fighting dark side Force user, saying that, oh, anybody with the Force can have a Force Ghost. And the Death Star is from Death Star 2, where they're going to get the kyber crystal, the Emperor's kyber crystal from his lightsaber, because there's something that needs to be done to balance the Force, and they need it from there. That's where they're going to encounter Palpatine, and that's where Kylo Ren is going to go.
All right.
And you see in the trailer.
I do think the point that you were making that maybe it wasn't very clear is what you're talking about is a fight amongst ghosts, Force ghosts having a big fight. Force ghosts fight.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Force ghosts fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're bringing Darth Maul. They're bringing General Grievous. They're bringing everybody from the past forward.
Did Grievous actually have Force powers?
No, but they're going to bring him because he was a villain.
Gotcha. I mean, that
So,
actually sounds kind of cool.
Does it? It sounds
But-
awful to me.
Okay.
I don't know. I think
okay.
a big fight between like Force ghosts would be
Okay.
kind of cool, but
Okay. Please, Denelli, please continue.
But the point is they're already, with bringing Palpatine back, from bringing all these Force ghosts, they're already breaking the whole story that Lucas set out just from the original. You know, ignoring the prequel, just the original, where you have to be a Jedi, you have to be in the light side, you have to be compassionate to retain your identity. That's something that George Lucas, in multiple interviews and through the film, says. You have to be selfless. By allowing Palpatine, and this is what they're going with, by allowing these dark side users having Force ghosts, means it doesn't matter. It didn't matter that Anakin was the chosen one. It means that nothing mattered.
Nothing
It didn't
matters.
matter. This whole thing doesn't matter. That's the whole thing of the trailer, and that's what they were applauding. These sheeps were applauding a needless story. And they have a 10-year plan to give you more of this garbage.
That's right. Now Kathleen Kennedy has 10 more years of Star Wars movies she's planned.
Well,
she's happy. I think she's
let me correct him quick.
Yeah,
One thing does matter:
Mhm.
money. That's why these movies are made. They don't care about the story. They don't care about anything else. They care about making that milking this thing as much as they can. And they're also going to bring in the only major character from, besides Vader. They haven't touched him yet, but he might show up too. The only major character from the original movies that they haven't bastardized in Palpatine. Well, you just hang on. We got one more movie to go, folks. We're going to screw him up too. Don't you fret.
Yeah. Well, wow. This is an oddness that's going on. I do see a lot of comments in the chat. But there's only one here that really matters, and it's from Model 3. It says, Denali is Chester's Padme. Awesome. One thing I would say about this debacle that's going on since Disney has owned it is the one positive note is this: Rian Johnson is just a little gleeful boy because he came out intending to piss the whole world off and he succeeded. So he must be just the most happy human alive because he got exactly what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
I'm officially going to call this movie Star Wars: The Retcon of Skywalker, because that's exactly all it's going to be. It's going to be one massive retcon of Last Jedi.
Star Wars: The Nail in the Coffin.
All right. Well, guys.
Now I'm kind of excited about what Denali said, with all the Force ghosts coming off the boat, like in Return of the King and Lord of the Rings.
But it breaks canon. It breaks the whole mythology. It's like Holdo doing that suicide kamikaze attack into the Super Dreadnought. Why don't they do it in the earlier things? Oh, because they had shields. Why wasn't the shields up for this one? Oh, it did have shield, and regardless of face, they went through it.
Oh yeah,
but we already broke canon.
I bring up Exhibit A, fuel.
It wasn't needed. It was never needed.
Yeah.
It was something that was mentioned but wasn't needed.
No, not at all. And if we were actually talking about this on another show for all of us who played, like specifically like the Star Wars role playing game, the D6 system, that is very clearly is very few that actually have any kind of fuel requirements. But I mean, I want to get in that conversation again. Nevertheless, guys, there was a Star Wars trailer for you. I don't know how exciting it was. It was kind of not interesting to me at all, and it sounds like the directions they're going are disastrous. But hey, as far as my wife and I are concerned, The Last Jedi was the last Star Wars movie we'll watch anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Can I just point something out real quick? 5.9 million views doesn't really seem that high for a Star Wars movie. I could be wrong, but for the trailer at least,
Oh
I thought
no.
there'd be more.
Yeah, no, that might be a fair point. Roger Heller makes a very interesting point, and that major character that is coming back is Jar Jar Binks. Man,
There you go.
I can't
Darth Jar
yank
Jar's
you out of
coming.
you.
Darth Jar Jar's coming.
Darth Jar Jar's coming.
Yeah.
If he, I don't want to get into that conversation because we're gonna be here all day talking
You'll-
about it. Let's move on,
You'll
guys.
break. Yeah.
All right.
The Darth Jar Jar Binks will become true under J.J. Abrams. He was playing us the whole time.
There you go. Yeah. John Malin says Yoda called down lightning to destroy the tree, the temple. Nothing stopping him from fighting a war as a ghost, going on a mission, doing taxes. Yeah, that's true. It is true.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, let's
Again,
move over
no
to.
No issue with Yoda because he's a light force user. Issue is with dark side user, which the Clone Wars, if you watch the Clone Wars and you've heard the interviews, only those with compassion and selflessness is able to retain their forms. That's why dark side user are tied to the material world and fear death and aren't able to do it. What they do with that is they break the whole canon, saying, nope, that doesn't matter. Anybody who has force power can be a ghost force. Invalidate all that storylines. But go ahead.
John Diller seems to have a comment here. He says, Denali will teach all the Padawans to build their own fleshlights, huh? Goodness gracious.
Yeah, John is the first one who's up.
Yeah, he's first up.
I'll
right?
teach you well, young Padawan.
All right, let's move on. We got to move on. All right. Now, today, of course, we have our guest here, and we are going to be talking about his project. So, hello, Eric.
Hello, how's everybody doing?
Yeah, sorry for the delay, dude. But I think everyone really wanted to talk about that, so we had to get that out of the way first. But nevertheless, we got Eric Hawkins here, and we're talking about his project he has on Kickstarter, actually, not Indiegogo, and the Zombieful World of Oz, a steampunk horror adventure. That's a mouthful. It sounds interesting. But the first thing I want you to do, Eric, is tell us a little bit about you, man.
Well, let's see. I'm an old man. No, I've been into comics, most of my life. I started collecting comics back in the early 80s. My first comic book was G.I. Joe 11.
Wow.
Or 12. I think it was 11, though. I think my brother got 12 and I got 11. And after that, I collected them all the way up through about 2010. And it just kind of dropped off because I wasn't really enjoying stories anymore. And, I was still going to the comic shop every week, getting my pull bag, and I wasn't even reading half of it anymore. So I'd always been kind of a artist. I mean, people called me an artist. I don't know. So I enjoyed drawing. I thought maybe I could draw my own story. So I started working on that a few years back, and then hooked up with a couple other guys, did a couple other comic books. Last year I did a Ghostly Tales of Spencer Spook with Brian K. Morris. He's an author. And it was a kind of an all-ages comic book, and we did a little Kickstarter for that. And it went over pretty well, and I wanted to continue working on this. And, well, that's where we are today.
Awesome. Now, while you've been talking, dude, I've been going through your page, just looking at the art and looking at the overall. Now, now that title is something. So, how did we get to that title? I'm just curious.
The Zombieful World of Oz?
Yeah.
Well, it's zombies, and I went with, the Wonderful World of Oz, and I just changed wonderful to zombieful.
Well, I get that, but we also have steampunk horror adventure.
A steampunk horror adventure just describes what the book is.
I see. All right.
It's more a description. Yeah, I had read it's really good to put that in the title of your Kickstarter.
It can be for sure. And
Yeah.
I'm looking at your Kickstarter page, and it's really nicely set up, by the way. And so
Thank
you
you.
must have took some time with this for sure.
I had spent time on it, quite a bit of time. Then when I got on your show, the Drawn and Quartered, about, I guess it was 4 weeks ago now,
Mhm.
and you guys told me, Indiegogo is probably the better one to go through. I'd already spent weeks on this. Like, well, I can't switch now. I've already spent all this time making the Kickstarter page.
Well, it's just for this community. Indiegogo has kind of become
Yeah,
the thing,
yeah.
but there are several people, including Pixel Trader, who are trying to expand this out into the entirety of what is available, including Kickstarter, because that's the smart thing to do. But we do have some people over here who have made Indiegogo seems to be, it's almost like a religious temple to them or something, and it's like, if it isn't Indiegogo, it's nothing. I don't understand that thinking whatsoever. It's about marketing, it's about commercialism, it's about making money on a project and getting it to hands, and people appreciating it is what it really comes down to. So I don't get that
Right.
thinking, and you're fine, dude, no problem. Kickstarter is just as good, and to be honest with you, although it is costing you a little bit more money to use Kickstarter. It's that Kickstarter is
Mhm.
actually a better platform as far as the bells and whistles.
Right.
Yeah. But now, obviously, this is an Oz book, and we've seen adaptations of Oz books for a long time. So, tell us, how exactly have you twisted Oz into your own demented vision?
Well, I twisted it as Dorothy. She comes back from Oz, as a child, starts telling her family about her adventures in Oz, and they think she's crazy, so they stick her in a mental asylum.
Oh, there we go. All right.
So 10 years later, she's a little better. She's had some shock therapy, and she believes that Oz was just a fantastic dream she had. She doesn't believe in it anymore, so they release her. In the meantime, a zombie plague has infested Oz, and Nico, the king of the flying primates. I try to say primates instead of monkeys because most of my flying monkeys look like chimpanzees and gorillas.
Well, so did it in the movie.
Yeah, so Nico brings a little army of zombie winky guards to Kansas to come after Dorothy, to bring her back to Oz.
I see. Well, we do I have a comment here from John Malin. He says, Kickstarter banned our book for political reasons. That's why Indiegogo. Well, there you go. Fair enough.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair enough reason.
Yeah. Now I'm looking here, and of course it looks like the Scarecrow is in charge of the zombies.
No, he's just kind of standing there in the middle of all the zombies. The Scarecrow really doesn't have any flesh, so they're not really interested in him.
That makes
He's made of straw.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Scarecrow is not a bad guy then.
No, he is not a bad guy.
I have to say, I really like that Scarecrow design.
Yeah,
It's
so do
very
I.
good.
Oh,
It's
thank
cool.
you.
Very
Yeah,
well done.
it is cool. Now I see you got a whole bunch of things here listed. You said Zombieful World of Oz, digital copy, regular copy, variant, bookmark, logo, vinyl cover, decal, all kind of cool stuff. A big old print. You got a lot of stuff going on in this project, dude.
Thank you. Yeah, there's quite a bit there. But
All right.
there was a lot of Excel data put behind that to make sure I could do it.
I see. So you're saying Nico comes and gets her and brings her back, which we're seeing these panels right here, I'm assuming?
Yeah, that's one of Nico's little minions trying to find where Dorothy's hiding out at. And Dorothy works in a basket shop in town.
Oh,
So
I see.
he goes back, tells Nico where she's at, and he sends the zombie winky guard after him. Nico can somewhat control the zombies using the golden cap, which wasn't even used in the book. Or I'm sorry, it was used in the book, but not in the movie. That's how the Wicked Witch used. She used the golden cap to control the flying monkeys in the books.
I see. Oh, okay. Well, there you go. I didn't know that. I don't remember that. I know I read that when I was a kid. All right. So they bring Dorothy back to Oz for some reason. What do they need Dorothy for? What power does she have that makes her important to this zombie plague?
She has a nice rack. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
Every
Sweet.
time.
Nice rack. All right. Yeah.
Now
that's it.
I do have to say on that front, Eric here gave me the comic, and I've actually read it in the PDF form. And Yeah, yeah. You're right, Thundero. Yeah, yeah. You even
Of
more so
course
in the
I am.
book. I mean, there's plenty of it. She is bustled up, might I say. And this also you've put this in a very interesting theme too. That we haven't mentioned because zombies is just zombies, but you've actually set this in kind of an old western type of way.
Yeah, yes, it sure did. And basically, it's because of the time period and the color scheme I went with, kind of a sepia tone, trying to draw out the colors. And it'll be hints of colors throughout the book, and that's going to distinguish Kansas from Oz. When they get to Oz, Oz is full of color.
So,
And actually, I have like a 3-issue story arc.
oh, I see. Okay. Now, this first book, how many pages is it?
It is 20 pages.
20 pages. Okay. And you are in this Kickstarter. You're selling how many books? You're like the first three.
What do you
is,
mean by?
well,
No, this is just the first one. The first one to see if there's any interest in it. Then I'll do 2 and 3. I've already written 2 and outlined 3, and I've actually thumbnailed issue 2 as well.
I see. And basically,
So I've written, I've penciled, I've inked, I've colored, and lettered.
Oh, okay. And basically, this is your main one here. For $12, you're getting the book, the digital version, of course. You're getting a vinyl decal, and you're getting a print.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, that's pretty good
A
price.
digital print on that one. Yeah.
Digital print
And a
on that.
bookmark.
And a bookmark. Oh, awesome. Now, of course, as we can see here, your project has funded. So you are in the red, excuse me, the black here. So that's a good thing. And we just want to, you just want to, push it more and get more and more people involved. And you got 20 days to go, so you're in good shape.
Yeah, I got a long ways to go, and I've already, I'm going to put out the stretch goals tonight.
Oh, sweet. And now, why did you decide to go with such a small book?
I wasn't sure if anyone would be even interested in it, to be honest with you. I don't really have a following on Instagram and Twitter, so I didn't know if anyone would really like it. So I went with a smaller format, try to get a small funding, and then take it around to some local conventions here in the St. Louis area.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you got to market it every way you can. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I've been sitting here asking questions and going over what he's doing here in this project, and we got a bunch of people on the panel. So, anybody have any questions for Eric here?
Sure. Kind of like a similar question that you said, Chester. Where did the imprint name come from? Stone Door. Studios.
Stone Door. There is a park in Tennessee near where all my family is from, and it's on a mountain in Tennessee, and it's called the Stone Door. It looks like a door in the middle of on the side of the mountain.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah. So there you go.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah, we do like to ask questions where the company names come up with and stuff like that. We actually had one yesterday with Chromosome 21, which was really interesting with Michael there for his Thrasher's book because his sister, I believe he said, had Down syndrome, and I guess it's the 21st chromosome which creates the Down syndrome situation, and he named his company for her, Chromosome 21. It's cool.
That is really cool.
It is
really cool.
and it sounds cool too.
It does.
Is interesting, But Stone Door is very cool sounding. Yeah.
All right, I have actually a couple questions. Like I already said, I really like the Scarecrow design. What was that? Was that inspired by anything, or is that just something you had in your mind?
I'll tell you what, it's kind of inspired by the mask. Basically, was a Spider-Man Noir when the video game came out a few years back.
Yeah.
I kind of like the way that looked.
Yeah,
it does look good. I love Spider-Man Noir.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'm a big fan of Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe.
I get
So
it.
I like
Sure.
a masked character with goggles.
This is my next one. It's pretty much just going to be about those. Now you have. I'm assuming this is supposed to be the Tin Man, but you say the name is the Tin Woodman. What's going on there?
That is his name in the book. Is the Tin Woodman.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah. He's a woodsman.
But in the book, I thought it was Woodsman all my life until I started reading the books again, and it's Woodman.
Yeah, well, I mean,
They
it's the
don't
same
have an
thing.
S in there. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's his job.
Yeah, and
He cuts
yeah,
trees.
And 10 doesn't rust anyway, so that's a mess.
Well,
too.
the main reason I even bring him up is what was that? The same question. Was that inspired by anything, or is it just a pseudo night armor?
Kind of more like a knight. You know, it's I wanted him to like his belly there is basically like a coal fire furnace or a coal burning
Furnace.
burning furnace. Thank you.
There you
And
go.
his heart is in the glass window on his chest, and it kind of heats him up and keeps him going.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's actually started out looking really bad. I mean, he almost looked like a trash can. So I said, well, I want to make him bigger than that. So this is what he ended up being.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
We do have a couple of questions here from the chat, just real quick.
Yeah, sure.
And then we'll let everyone continue. Let's see here. Chester hasn't been a kid since when Oz was written. I'm not that old.
Almost, but not quite.
Almost. There was another one, but it jumped on me. All right, let me just read this one. Does Eric have any free art of the characters to show off? That's from Moxrox 1103. Do you have any other art you would like to share screen with right now?
Concept images or anything?
Hold on. Yeah, keep asking questions. I'll go find some.
Go ahead, Thunder.
I have one more question. It's not related to the characters so much. It's more of a question / statement. The book's done, basically. Yes, it's completely. It says 100% complete.
Yes.
And you said here you wanted to make sure the art was complete before the Kickstarter. Now, it's 100% complete. It's inked, or not inked, but it's lettered, everything ready to print.
I read the book, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I sent Chester a PDF of it this afternoon.
Well, the other part of that is I want to say that's very smart, and I hope we see more of that. That should be, in fact, the norm going forward for anybody doing these. These books should be ready or very, very close to ready by the time people are putting money towards them, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the reason I did that, I didn't want to launch a book that I wasn't completely done with because I don't do this full time. I work full time, and I do this when I can.
Sure.
So I didn't want to something in life to push back and me have to delay a release or anything. I wanted it to be completely done and good to go if I got funded.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Sweet. Now, of course, Pope Fire is here with us, and I know she has a question. So go ahead, Pope.
Oh, is she there?
Sorry, I have a cold, so I was coughing.
Oh.
Now, I do like this book. I'll probably end up backing it later tonight. But if you had a favorite Teen Titan, who would your Titan be? And just know that there are no wrong answers except one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Yes, this is a common thing. You don't know about her. She expects the right answer. And by the way, you just made money. It just popped up. That's kind of cool.
Oh, awesome.
I love to see that scroll happen.
My favorite Teen Titan. I know I'm going to say the wrong one, but
it's Superboy. It's Superboy.
Robin.
Robin.
No, that's a good one.
Now, which Robin? Which one?
Uh-oh.
That's important.
Oh.
She's a stickler.
She is.
Damian Wayne.
That was the wrong one.
Tim Drake.
Tim Drake.
Yeah, okay, that's better. That's better. Tim's a good Robin.
Just understand, Eric, that the correct answer was Starfire and is always Starfire. Pope here
I should have figured that.
Yeah, you should have. Yeah, but
no, I do want to make one comment though. I am really impressed that you released this already completed, because that definitely is one of the reasons why I mean the designs on it are definitely cool, but I find that really impressive because that's something I wish would happen more as well.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Now, Sporkman Studios is in here, and he says, Chester, awesome project, and I just backed it. Well, there you go. Thank you, Sporkman. But it is a cool looking project. It sounds fun. It's an interesting idea. It's tight and set. Like I said, I got the book before and looked at it. It is rare to have a completed book during an actual crowdfunding go. That's not what usually happens, and that's what Thundara was talking about. But it's nice, very nice to see that. Now, as he's digging around for some art to show us, anybody else have any questions?
Sure, I have a question.
Go ahead, George.
What have you taken a lot or a little out of the books in terms of your influence in creating the backstory as you move through the your universe?
Actually, it's a lot from the books.
Oh, that's
I mean, a lot of the characters are going to be based on the characters in the books. The looks of some of the characters will be based on the books, because I really can't base them on the movie, because the movie is not in public domain. But the books, as long as they were written by Baum, are still in public domain.
I see.
Yeah, so there's a lot of characters that I haven't that won't be in this first issue that will come along later that are inspired from the books. TikTok, the Gnome King, Jack Pumpkinhead, Ozma of Oz.
Now, were you influenced?
Ozma's going to be very important.
Were you influenced?
Sorry, George.
Sorry. Were you influenced at all by the original books, the ones that are in public domain? No.
The original books. Yes.
No, but were you influenced by the sporadic illustrations that they had in there at all?
I like the illustrations. I can't remember the artist's name, but I did like those. So the Wicked Witch's design is kind of based on his design, because the Wicked Witch actually has an eye patch in the books, where she didn't in the movie. And I know the Wicked Witch is dead, but she might not stay dead.
Eye patches make everything
later on
much more awesome.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, you need the eye patches. Or you can just go Popeye and just keep it squinted. Exactly. All right.
Now, the one thing that I see you have been influenced is anything that happened in Kansas is in grays, and everything that happens in Oz is in color.
Yes, Oz will be a full-blown color: pink trees, bright green grass, blue skies. Yeah.
Wonderful. No, it's in terms of influence, taking that one bit of characteristics out of the movie, where everything happened in gray in the real world and color in the fantasy world, was just a stroke of genius back then. And the fact that you held on to it in this book, that's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, nice touch.
Yeah, I really like that about the book. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something. I don't know if my wife is listening or not. I don't think she is, but she hates the Wizard of Oz.
Oh, wow. Really?
She really hates it. I have not seen it since we've been together.
Did you try it?
She is complete. She is supporting me in this book, though.
Chester, what is that song that if you play the song along with Wizard of Oz, it gives you a whole new expression, whole new meaning? Was it Pink Floyd?
No idea, dude. Well, Pink.
Are you talking about Dark Side of the Moon?
Dark Side of the Moon. That's right.
I never heard that before.
Oh, seriously?
No.
Good
well,
God,
no. I'm talking about this theory, this concept. I actually used to play in the Machine, which is a Pink Floyd tribute band. So yeah, I know Pink Floyd, but I didn't know that some Pink Floyd song would go with the Wizard of Oz and make some change to your thoughts.
I think it's the whole album. If you play it from beginning to end, it supposedly syncs up with the movie.
Yeah, it does.
Interesting. Wow.
It does.
That's a great album.
It's a whole new experience.
Interesting.
Okay, Chester, I got some stuff I can share.
All right, cool. Let me come back over this side.
Now, these are some really rough early drawings, and I'll bring you up to speed some better looking ones.
I like it.
All right. Okay. So let me switch over here. Okay, there you go. You are showing there.
Okay, so there you got the Tin Man. He was, or the Woodman, but he's really rough looking in the beginning. I did some sketches for zombies. Dorothy was looking a little more, I don't know, butch. Kind of spiked hair. I didn't really care for that look, so I changed it. I got the lion was wearing a derby with some glasses. I changed that. Let's see. Here's some more designs. This is where the Tin Woodman started to develop a little better.
Yeah.
I started to get kind of an idea what I wanted him to look like. There's some little shots of the Scarecrow down below, kind of like his kind of traditional look down here.
Mm-hmm.
But a looking a little creepy. Then a really cartoony giant goggles there. And where am I at? And so this is basically almost all the characters I've designed for the book so far.
Oh, look at that.
So you got Jack Pumpkinhead. Below him is Glinda the Good Witch, because she did have red hair in the books.
Mm-hmm.
Nico. This is the Wizard.
Interesting.
The Cowardly Lion, Tin Woodman, Dorothy, Scarecrow. This is Ozma of Oz, and here's the Wicked Witch on the end.
Oh, wow.
I have it. I'm just by that picture alone. If tell me if I'm right. Is the lion and the wizard? Do they have like more of a relationship than everyone else? In some way, like
no, not really. You know, in the book, it's going to be the wizard's been kind of living like a hermit and away from everybody for a while.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I really like
it. It might be the handkerchiefs they're all wearing.
I really like the design on the lion too. I think it's a very.
Oh, thank you.
Fits very well.
The lion. He started out with a trench coat, a derby, then I went to a top hat, and then I ended up deciding to make him more like a pirate, and he's going to actually have a flying pirate ship, you know, with the
cool.
blimp and the pirate ship below it.
I actually like the expression on the Pumpkinhead guy.
Yeah, I do too. I really do.
It is cool. It is cool. And Nick W. seems to have an opinion over here. He says, there's no way Chester listened to Floyd. He was too busy listening to his disco 8-tracks. Now, you listen here, Nick. I've never listened to disco. Disco is an abomination made unto man. And
Preach it.
I did, absolutely, dude. And I actually did play with a machine for a year, dude. Yeah, so I actually know all about Floyd, including all the drugs.
This is just Chester letting... This is just Chester letting everyone know he's done everything and he's the most awesome man. That's all. That's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know.
You lost some cred, Chester.
How did I lose cred for playing with the Pink Floyd Tribute Band? That's awesome cred. What are you talking about?
You didn't know about the syncing up of Dark Side with the Wizard of Oz?
No,
Come on.
Sorry. Do apologize. Last time I saw the Wizard of Oz, I showed it to my kids when they were little. That's the last I've ever watched Oz.
And then the World War II started.
Yep, that's right. You know, the interesting thing, actually, the very first Cecil, Cecil, his Dick Comics thing, I think he's changed it now, but on his YouTube, I went and watched that when he first showed up on Ethan's channel. And he does an absolutely wonderful little documentary about the Wizard of Oz, actually. We kind of laugh at Cecil and his jokes and his vulgarity and stuff like that. But you go watch some of his actual, uploads, the work he actually has done. It's pretty good. That guy puts out some really interesting work, actually. And there's a lot of research in that as well. So just as an aside.
Oh, cool.
He's a very hard-working, lazy man.
He is. Yeah.
Hey, he didn't show up last night.
No, he didn't. And that's I'm gonna have to yell at Pixel so he can yell at Cecil for me. But this is a cool motorcycle. What you got going on with this?
That is the Wizard's motorcycle.
Of course it is. Sweet.
I love that. I love everything about that. Actually, that's a brilliant idea.
Is the Wizard a good guy or a bad guy?
He's gonna be a good guy.
He's gonna be a good guy. Why is he still in Oz when supposedly he went home?
He got in that balloon. We don't know if it made it back home or not.
Oh, I see. So you don't want no spoilers. I get it. Spoilers. Cool. All right.
Hey, now I will tell you this. There is a cause to all the zombies. I did work that out before I. Well, some people they just they're zombies. Why? We don't know. They're just zombies. I did come up with a reason. All right, well, but I won't tell them right
now. No, that's funny. Roger Hellish did anyone watch did anyone like The Wiz? No, dude, that was horrible. Michael Jackson.
Literally no one. I don't think a human on the planet did, actually.
I remember watching it as a child, but it was bad.
Yeah, I love how these guys love to assume what I like or don't like. Here, Mr. Eric Boyd, Chester's favorite movie is The Wiz with Michael Jackson and Diana Ross. It most certainly is not. My favorite movie is Lord of the Rings, Le Grand Bleu, Cinema Paradisimo, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen. Hey, we have to watch that movie. That is a good
movie.
Yeah, it is. Oh, look at this one. This is Dorothy here in her skirt,
Yeah,
and she has a gun.
That was one of the earlier versions. The legs are way too long, but yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
disagree. I love long legs.
Yeah, baby, they said they love long legs on a lady.
Mhm.
Okay, waiting
It's
for
true.
object because she's Japanese. They got short legs. You know that, right?
You're gonna mess around. You're gonna catch a sword in the back one of these days.
Right.
You got
No
swords just slinging
comment.
around the house?
No comment at all. I do.
He's in
actually.
Japan.
Yeah, I do actually. No comment, literally, and that's not a good thing. Usually, she just does something jokingly. So she's actually, she's pissed. All right.
You
There
might
it
want
is.
to watch for knives,
Yeah,
flying
watch for
blades.
Of course, I have samurai sword in the house. How could I not?
He lives too close to ninjas. He's got to be prepared.
That's right. I actually have a full die show.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But again, back to my point. Chester's the most interesting. He should literally be the guy in those commercials. The most interesting man in the world.
oh, that old dude, yeah, he's cool.
He even has a beard, so
I do. But I'm gray.
sexy.
I'm very gray. I guess that can be sexy too. But anyway, we're sitting here looking at the Tin Woodman, and I like your design on it. It's pretty cool. We've seen a lot of different redesigns of the Tin Men, but I like the robot feel of it. I love the fact that he does still have his heart, which was given to him by the wizard. I think it's really cool. Yeah.
I like
Now,
the,
do you guys know the actual story behind the Tin Woodman from the books?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, the books are very dark and twisted.
Of course.
Apparently, he had an enchanted axe that kept chopping off his limbs, and every time they chopped one off, he would have it replaced with a tin body part, until eventually it even chopped off his head.
Okay.
Now, he was engaged to a munchkin. Then once he became this Tin Man, she didn't want anything to do with him. Well, later on, they find out that all the body parts were put back together, and this little munchkin chick is engaged to this pieced together guy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's
Whose name's Nick Chopper. His real name's Nick Chopper.
that is horrific. And that is not an enchanted weapon. That is what we would call a cursed weapon.
Yeah, that's a pretty
Yes, yeah.
pretty bad situation to have your weapon in. Oh
Wow.
man.
That is, I didn't know that, but then again, I did read the Oz when I was young. I'm pretty sure it was one of those books they gave us in school to read, but I haven't read it since. But boy, that book is a lot more horrific than I remember.
There's some really twisted stuff through the books. I mean, it's a horror upon itself.
Yeah, no, it sounds like it. I've heard people say that too. I really need just to go read it again. I think I was just probably too young to really get it when I read it.
Yeah. I really like the design of the Tin Woodman a lot, actually, especially the flares on the shoulder, the pauldrons are really nice. It looks very woodsy while at the same time being armor. I like that. That was a good choice. I just think, and another thing, I've been saying this for a while. I've said it on here a couple times. I think steampunk and really all the punks are going to make a big comeback in the next decade and be very, very, very popular. So I think people like you getting out ahead of it is a good thing. And this does look like a really cool, really, really well designed project. In all honesty.
Yeah,
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that.
There are a few Thundaro these kind of punkish things that are coming out. I know that there's a couple projects that I'm involved with that are doing things like that too, which is really neat. And even on that mention in the role-playing game we're running on Bugbear's Basement on Tuesdays is a cyberpunk superhero storyline. So, I mean, it is certainly a lot of buzz going on about it. Matter of fact, Thundaro, why are you not in my campaign, by the way?
I don't play those games. That's just a bridge too far for me.
Wow.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
Right, fine. It's okay. Just disavow my entire existence, Thundaro.
I mean, I'm all right with that.
Damn it. Yeah, Roger Heller says even Daft Punk is coming back. Oh God, please no.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Let's leave that buried. It's
Let's
somewhere
leave it,
out in a
yeah.
desert where they put the ET games. Let's just put that out there with it.
Absolutely right. All right, let me jump back over here to the main page real quick and take
Sure.
a look at it. And now, guys, we have a nice little project here. Of course, it is funded, but you can certainly use your help. He's got 20 days left to go to, and it looks fun too. And we're just sitting here talking to Eric. We can see that he has a lot planned and for the future, and we can see that he's got a good work ethic because the book is finished. Like I said, I looked at it earlier, and he's the book is pretty good.
Chester, real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
My first stretch goal, if I reached 2,000, I'm going to put a sketch card in everybody's package.
Well, sweet. Oh, nice. There you go.
Yeah, hand-drawn sketch card. Yeah, I'll draw one of the characters.
Oh, there you go. And stretch goals will be really important for pushing the project beyond the its funding, right? But we've
Yep.
seen here he's got various different variant covers from different people for different prices. But for $12, you can get the book and a whole bunch of other stuff in. That's not a bad price, especially for this direct market thing we're looking at here in the crowdfunding stuff. It's unfortunately we do not have the direct market access and the big publishing access that the big companies do. So this direct marketing thing is a little more expensive than it is from what you get in the store, but that is what it is. So we definitely are supportive of all these kind of things, and this is a good looking project. It's definitely fun. And Argos Creation says Chester is a huge Delta Blues fan. His wife will find him down at the crossroads, drinking whiskey from a jug, waiting for the devil to tune his guitar. Well, thanks, Bill. I do play saxophone, however, but I guess I can adjust. Huh? Punky Brewster, Evan, that was uncalled for. But unbelievable. But anyway, any of these other perks you have here you would like to go over before we move on to the news?
Well, I'll tell you what. Unfortunately, I do almost all my work digital now. Ever since I switched over to a Helion monitor, just it's quicker for me than penciling, than scanning, than inking.
Sure.
So the highest perk on there, you get a printed inked page, but I'm going to have to do a remark on it because it's not original page because I have to print it out. But I will print it out in Bristol and draw something on there for you.
Okay, and this is the $100 one, yeah.
It'll be a full inked page from one of the pages from the book, printed on 11 by 17 Bristol, and I will do a sketch on there.
Awesome, that sounds cool. And we've seen a lot of people doing original art stuff, and that's a neat little thing to get. Seems like one person has already backed that, so that's awesome. And yeah,
That
you
was
guys
my
can.
son.
It was. Oh, that's cool. Well, you can see my pain here. It's of course it's telling me from Japan if I want to back this is $25, and of course all the rest of them will be the same. Even if I come up to the his standard offer here, it's for me is definitely going to be what $25. It is what it is. But that's what we have to deal with overseas, and there's nothing you can do about it. So,
Sadly.
No, unfortunately, shipping's horrible anymore.
it is. It is. Yeah. Interesting.
I
Well-
did have one more question
Mhm.
before we move on.
Sure.
And you may have already covered this actually, but this is only like 20 pages, yeah? Somewhere around there.
Right.
Did you plan on doing more since this one's been funded? Did you plan on, is this just a one-off? Are you going to make an actual series out of it? Or are you going to do something else in this world?
I am going to make an actual series.
Good.
I've got 3 issues all planned out. The second issue is already written. Dialogue and everything. I've already thumbnailed the pages. The third issue is an outline. So there's going to be a 3-issue story arc to kick off the first arc, and I want to continue after that. I just want to keep going with it.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, any other questions here for Eric? Nope. All right. And Eric, would you like to make a last comment? Now, we're going to do a little bit of news, Eric, but when we're done with that, we're going to come back and we'll show the page again, of course. But would you like to give any closing comments on this?
I just appreciate you guys having me on, and I hope anyone that backs the book loves the book as much as I love creating it. And I think it's a very exciting story, just because it's the Wizard of Oz and it's kind of a timeless classic, in literature.
Sure.
And this is just kind of a different take on it. And I appreciate everybody's comments and kindness.
Oh yeah, no, and there are a lot of people in the chat who actually like it, and we've seen a couple of people back it actually while we've been talking. So, Mox Rock says, "I have to go, but really like Eric's artwork. Really hope I see him at some of the YouTube auctions. Thanks, Jester, for bringing Eric on the show. Always love Cat Chat time. Thanks, Mox Rocks. But yeah, now that's something to keep in mind, Eric. You might want to get in touch with Edwin or Mike, and see if you can't take one of your original pieces of art and put it on auction. That would spread the word, I think.
Yeah, it definitely would. And I'll tell you what, all the character designs, like you see on the front page here with Dorothy and Scarecrow and all them, those were all penciled. I do have all them on 11 by 14 Bristol.
Well, there you go.
Wow.
Bill actually has a question for you as well. He says, Chester, what is Eric's best guess for printing frequency? 4 times a year, 2 times a year, what, etc.
I'm hoping for twice a year. I do have 2 other comic books I'm working on with some other people. One of them was a paid gig, so I definitely got to do that one.
Oh, I see. Yeah, of course you need to do that one. Awesome. All right. Well, let me see if my wife is still mad at me. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Nope, she's not looking at me. She's not talking to me. She's ignoring me. I love you.
Oh, very sensitive about her short legs. My goodness.
Kisses. She's laughing now. Okay. All right. She couldn't hold it. All right. It's all good. Whew, safe. All right. Moving on.
Until tonight.
Well,
You gotta
hey.
sleep sometime.
Well, that's how you fix the problem, Denali. That's the secret of marriage, man. Eric says, I dig the character designs. Yeah, I think they're cool too, actually. Very nice. All right, like I said, we'll come back and look at this at the end of the program, but we're going to jump into our news real quick. And we already had that, we did this. No, we didn't do that. We did this. Yeah, and that was, so let's do this then. Whew. Go ahead, Denali.
All right. Yes, again. And you gotta show it to us.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. That's right. All right. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. All right. Here we go.
Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy on planning the next 10 years of Star Wars film. That's the joke, right? That's April Fools. April Fools.
No, I don't think it's April Fools. It's not. This is April 12th, so they kind of missed the mark on it, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I've expunged myself of the Star Wars fandom entirely after the last show. It just washed out of me. It took about a year to detox, but I got it all out of me. They can do whatever they want. I don't care anymore. I just whatever. Run it into the ground. Have fun.
Yeah, well, the producers said this is more important. Denali didn't even have the heart to finish it. Let me finish it for him. The producer, Kathleen Kennedy, is talking with Rian Johnson and Game of Thrones showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss to discuss the future. We are looking at the next saga. So Rian Johnson is still in good graces with Kathleen Kennedy because he's a good boy. He did exactly what she wanted, and he's coming forward. So we're going to get more Rian Johnson. That absolute. Well, what's a good word for Rian Johnson? Let's think about it because he's a type of person who wants to tick people off. He wanted to tick the entire world off, and he did it successfully, and he was so happy about it. So what do we call that kind of person who loves to see other people's, pain? George?
Troll.
A troll. That would be a very nice, simple, modern word for him. Maybe we could think of something that's a little bit more energetic and,
I could, but
you want an old school insult for him? You said a modern one. I'll give you. He's a whoreson. That's what he is. He's a son of a whore.
He's a son of
Prick.
a whore. A whore's son. Oh, wow. But that's the shocking thing of this article to me. It's not that Kathleen Kennedy, who's been given the job to continue, Disney's obviously happy with her. That's not the shocking thing. The fact that Rian Johnson is still involved in making stuff. That's
ladies
the shocking
and gentlemen,
news.
I submit to you, our entertainment for the next 10 years is to watch a master class on exactly what not to do to make money.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, no,
what not to do with a formerly easily $1.5 billion a movie franchise.
Yeah.
What not to do with that?
This is going to be a masterclass of epic proportions. And
Mhm.
everything that they do, everything that they market, everything that they say, everything that they put out, all you have to do is not do it. And you will be able to make money in whatever you create.
Yeah. Well, now the thing with the Game of Thrones showrunners here, these two guys, David and DB, they did a really good job with Game of Thrones. So there might be some interesting things coming out of that. But just the fact that Ryan Johnson's still involved is just shocking to me. It doesn't make any sense, and it shows you that Bob Iger has lost power because Bob wanted to get rid of her. Bob didn't want Ryan Johnson, but the fact that he hasn't been able to make the actual decisions shows us that he's lost all his authority. And now, where that authority is, who's actually holding that, I'm not sure. But it's certainly not Bob Iger.
Board.
Well, I had heard that Iger was getting ready to leave anyway. His biggest contribution was gonna the thing he was really after was Fox. He got it, so I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few years he just retires or whatever, moves on. What it is it's the board. The board is they want Kennedy. They want to push what Kennedy wants to push, whether they think it's just for profit or for agenda. It doesn't matter. But that's what it is, and they're being put in place there and maintained by Disney. So
they are.
They are Disney. So it doesn't. That's the reality. Is nothing's going to get put out on the Star Wars brand without Disney's approval. And if Iger can't even change it, then Disney's board is the one who's doing it.
Sure. But we're also seeing a shift in Marvel as well, which seems to be going more this direction, which, of course, would, go woke, get broke, right? Get woke, go broke. But now Argo's creation here, Bill, he wins the prize for today because I put out a challenge what we should call Ryan Johnson. I think he's found the perfect little epitaph for our little troll. He says, a delusional, sadistic, masturbatory narcissist. Yep.
Oh, Johnson.
Yeah, he's but I can be angry at him, but the dude won. He won left and right, and he did exactly what he wanted because even in his interviews he says he wants to piss at least half the audience off. And so from his point of view, this was a major success. So, hey.
Yeah, major. They left $1 billion on the table.
Oh, they did. Yeah, but he doesn't care about that. He got his pay, right? Anyway, let's move away from Star Wars before everyone has some kind of cardiac arrest. Go ahead, Denali. What's this one?
All right. The UK set to enforce sweeping new censorship regulations on tech giants such as Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So they're going to put a new list of unsafe contacts and censor that out.
Yeah. Now, of course, this is coming out of the ruling that came out of Belgium with the EU to do these kind of things. And we're going to see each country is now forced to make some kind of rules. But this is an interesting little comment from the blue check mark that is Theresa May and the absolute feckless and useless person that she is. Online companies must start taking responsibility for their platforms and help restore public trust in this technology. Yeah, we could say the same thing about you damn hag. Yeah, unbelievable, man. What a joke. You are such a joke. Your people voted for Brexit, lady. Get it done. God, she sucks.
Oh, boy.
And they extended that to June 30th.
Oh, dude, they're not going to do it. They're doing everything.
Oh no, they've extended it further than that. I think it's all the way to October now.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. So.
And what they're going to pay what she is going to do is she's going to punish the British people for daring to go against her will. And what she's going to do is she's going to end up having the Britain pay billions and billions and billions of euros over to the EU for an apology for us leaving. She's going to punish the British people. That's what she's doing. That is her intention, right? Her and all those other Remainers. It's disgusting what's going on in Europe with the politicians, and she is at the. I don't think she's bad as Merkel or Macron because those people have literally lost their mind. But this lady's right up there, and who cares what you have to say, lady? Nobody cares.
Why do all their names start with M? What kind of weird glitch in the Matrix is that?
It is weird.
All of these people's names of the three most powerful countries in Europe start with M, and they're all terrible.
They're all
They're just
terrible.
horrible leaders.
And keep this in mind: not one of them has children.
Yep.
None of them. Right?
Really?
So why do they
Yeah.
care? What do they care if they
Oh.
screw up the
Yeah,
future? They don't
none
have
of
any
the leadership of Europe has children. Now,
They are what, lack of a better description, they are what you call Jesuits agents.
in a
That's what
way, they are. That's true.
That's what the
I don't
Black
know if
Pope
it's. Yeah, I don't know how
Jesuit
direct
general-
it is, but yeah, I agree. But the thing with this going on with this over here, basically what they're going to do is they're going to force these social media groups to just stop doing business in Europe. Now you're saying, well, there's lots of money and things like that, but yeah, the cost is way prohibitive. It's much cheaper and easier for them to simply black out Europe. And the thing is, you say that, oh, well, then what are these politicians doing? Well, they're doing exactly what they want. They want Europe blacked out. You have to understand what's going on over there, in Germany and France and all these. There is full on, France particularly is full on war in the streets, right? And they're trying to shut the media down. They're trying to keep it hush hush because they're basically trying to destroy any kind of freedom or voting ability of the people because they believe they need to bring in these third world people so that eventually that they will make more taxes. Now, even though all the statistics shows that never works when you do it, just like the damn communists, oh, we'll do it right this time. We know better. That's what they're doing. And they literally, it's a horror show going over in Europe. They have locked this down. And you don't hear any media talking about it.
You have Eastern and Southern Europe, well, besides Spain, but like Italy and obviously Eastern Europe is largely revolting against it, especially Italy.
Yeah.
And they're basically just telling the EU to stick it. We're going to do what we want. So I think what you're seeing is this is just pure a fear panic. The fact that Brexit happened scared them to death. The elite, the people who rule the EU and rule the UK, terrified them because the people literally said, "No, we want away from you." That's all it was. They want away from their style of governance because it's undemocratic.
Yep.
There's no real way to get anything that the people's will wants done, obviously, because Brexit still hasn't happened, which it should have happened immediately. There was no excuse it didn't.
Yep.
And they're terrified. They see that all over Europe, you have Italy, you have Austria, you have Hungary, you have Poland, and other countries, Estonia, that are just absolutely abjectly refusing to play ball with them on certain issues. They won't do it. And yeah, that's absolutely good for them. And they're terrified that that's going to spread. So the way they stop that from spreading is making sure communication doesn't happen unless it's approved by the government apparatus. This is literally the reason we have the First Amendment in America. That is why it is the First Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. It's the first guaranteed right because they knew they had already seen it with the UK, with the king, that this will happen. They will shut you up one way or the other. They'll make you, the only way you can communicate is in person. They'll make sure you can't communicate over long distances because if you can coordinate and you can bring down tyrants. And that's what they're afraid of.
Yep. And isn't Marxism wonderful? Isn't it? And you might be asking, why do I care? It's Europe. I'm an American living in Japan. Well, I tell you what, it's the homeland of my people. And even though you keep hearing these assholes that keep telling us, oh, no, the white people have no homeland. They don't own it. White people, right? The hell with you. That's my homeland, you bastards. Right? And it's absolute nonsense what's going on over there. And I really, really hope that full Civil War revolt and just bloodshed murder these damn Marxists out. That's what I think. And matter of fact, if it does kick off, maybe I'll grab a gun and go join them.
That's what's coming. It's already starting in France, and that's just going to keep happening. It's just going to snowball. The peoples of these countries are tired of it. They're done. They don't want it. Now, some of them do because they're morons, but most of them don't. I think the vast majority of them don't want this. They do not want the internet censored. If you actually got to them and told them what it actually means, because they flower it up with nice language, talk about how they're going to protect people and this and that, and then you say, well, wait, if you actually stop somebody and say, wait a minute, this is what that actually means, they're going to strangle you so you can't speak out against them. I don't do it about protecting people from cyberbullying or misinformation. It's about making sure they can keep you under control.
Yeah,
that's exactly how Article 13 got passed. They lied about its intention, and when the people who voted for it realized the truth. They wanted to change their vote and said, "Sorry, it's too late. You voted. It's done." And also, there's a reason why there's a push right now for all this invasion of Europe to happen, is because these evil people, and I do call them evil, and because they are, they live their life on rituals, evil rituals, and one of their evil rituals is, lack of a better description, this would be for tinfoil talk.
Yes.
Is that the stars are aligning and they have to act now for their
Or the
takeover.
so they think.
But
yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, that's what's going on. And if they can't do it now, they have lost a few generations before they can do it again.
Even if you take out their particular beliefs or their metaphysical reasoning for it, regardless, it's just reality. It's now or never for these control freaks from the top down. The people of the world are done with them, and all it's going to take is an adoption of technologies which already exist that make it impossible to censor the internet, and they're done. They're over.
Yeah.
They know that, so that's why they're trying to lock it down. They can't have a free, open discourse happen, because if that happens, their lies will be told and they will fall.
Yeah, but they're also making assumptions, Thundero. Argos Creations, how many weeks has the Yellow Vest thing been going on? 12, 16? No, dude, 27. 27 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. About half a year.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Just, I've said this before, and I'll probably say it again. Historically, if you look around the cultures in the world, we humans are warlike. We are warmongers. We're always violence is part of our cultures. Unfortunately, I think this modern time we've done a really good job of cutting violence down to an incredibly low level, possibly the lowest levels we've ever had in the history of man. We don't know that, but it might be. So we've done a really good job of doing that. But here's the thing about white folk. In general, they are very, very helpful. They're very, very charitable. They're very, very kind. They do all these kind of things. They try very hard. Now, that might be some kind of selfishness inside because of how they want to be seen. I don't care how you take it. But white people tend to do these things as charitable and nice as they can. But you push them too far, then they go from being the nicest thing in the world to the most destructive force that has ever been seen on the planet. And this has been seen many times throughout history. You don't want to piss the white people off to the point that they're actually pissed. Because when you do,
Right.
blood freaking comes, and it comes hard. And that's what they're doing. This is the assumption that they're making. They're thinking that the modern people are too soft and they can get away with it. But they're wrong. They are wrong.
Well, I like to add to what you just said there, Chester, is that I don't believe it's true. They use the white folk or the white people or the white race or whatever you want to call it as a red herring. What they're actually saying is the Christian people.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Because throughout history, it's Christianity that has brought mankind forward. During the Black Plague, it was the church that actually helped the fellow man to survive the plague. Everybody else ran for the hills, so to speak. They all just capitulated and died. There's just so much in terms of just the raw essence of Christianity. Forget about everything else if you really want to go with God and Jesus don't exist. Well, then just stick with the actual practice of do unto others and etc.
Oh, sure.
All those rules and regulations is what has pushed humanity forward. It has brought the United States of America into creation. It's mind-boggling that this evil that is festering all over the world is it's there. It's counter to the very heart of what the United States is, and it's growing. And like you said, somehow, some way, something's going to give, because at a certain point,
it's going to be bad.
The Crusades. The reason why the Crusades happened is exactly what you just described, Chester.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you push us so far, we're going to have to push back.
Yeah, that's the problem. And Christianity certainly helped to pacify the Europeans quite a bit. And of course, particularly after the Reformation, Christianity did a lot to bring us to where we are. It's certainly responsible. But the thing is, like there are many examples beyond just the Crusades. It's just when you push them, the Europeans, to a certain point, they snap. Whereas other cultures, war and peace are just kind of parts of the political journey through time, right? And they, of course, war is war. People murder. All bad things happen. Yada yada yada. Of course, it's true. But for some reason, the Europeans, it's a tipping point that brings us to war most of the time, and it's emotional. That's why they always push war so emotionally with us. Whereas in other countries, a lot of time they just say, okay, we're going to war, and then boom, you're at war. For us, they have to bring it to an emotional tipping point, and when that happens, I don't know, we go from 0 to 100 so quickly. The European people. I don't know, it's something in our DNA. I don't know what it is. But historically, this is not nonsense I'm talking about. I'm talking real deal here. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see bloodshed rip across Europe again, right? But this is what these bastards are turning it to, and this is a serious deal. And it's really frustrating because most of the world is not really aware of what's going on, and it's going to get bad. And like the yellow vest thing that Bill had brought up, yeah, maybe you don't understand, but there are people that are losing limbs, eyes, all kind of violence is going on. The police have become absolutely thuggish in France because that's what Macron wants. Macron is going to end up finding himself at the end of a noose. Is what's going to happen, right?
Well, actually, the police that you're talking about, the thug police, are not actually the indigenous police and the actual French police. They are people who are brought in and put on the police uniform. These are enforcers from outside of France who are brought in with who act like the police. They're from the UN.
Yeah, which is precisely why they want their EU army. That's the exact reason.
Yeah.
Because they'll use German soldiers in Italy to force Italy to capitulate. They'll use Italians in Spain to force Spain to do what they want. That's the exact reason.
Exactly. Well, under Obama, he was trying to bring in UN troops to work in America, on American soil.
Yep.
That's freaking Obama, right? Thank God for Donald Trump, right?
They had coffins ready at one point.
I know, dude. Now, Joe Maroney, Maroney says, man, turn to hear about zombies in Oz, but hear about censorship and they end up quoting Ayn Rand. Said I was going to cut back on that. Just can't get away from it. Well, you know why you can't get away from it, Joe? Because the whole Western world is doing its damnedest to burn us all alive. That's why.
Yeah.
Right? And you can't get away from it because it's ever present. Right? But I do apologize. And this is, of course, this is Denali's fault. Denali put this here, and he knew exactly what he was doing. Right? He knew it.
And if those evil jerks out there succeed, then this great zombie Oz book would never have been produced.
That's true. That's true. All right, let's move on though, because I'm getting hot.
Yeah.
Well, before you explode, I want to say one more thing. This is healthy for our civilization. Every about this time, 50 to 100 years, we fight each other. We turn on each other. It's just happened all throughout history. The West will fight itself because it basically doesn't have anyone else to fight. And after that happens, almost always there's a time of great peace and prosperity throughout the West. Mm-hmm. It's happened all throughout history. It's happened with Napoleon. It happened with World War I and World War II, which was a really long period of that. It happened even as far back you can go to the Holy Roman Empire, all the wars. There was all kinds of wars over religion and stuff. But after that was done and we get it out of our system, we always come out stronger. That's the light at the end of the tunnel. But this has to happen. We have to fix the system.
Yeah, but this is a little bit different than simple little war, right? Political warring and stuff. I'm talking about the unhinging of the Europeans. With that, and
it'll be a total absolute war. It'll be on the scale. Once it starts off, it'll be on the scale of World War I and even more so.
Well, Thomas Jefferson said, the tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants.
Yes, it's true.
Yep.
All right. Moving on, because we're no longer a political show.
Go ahead, Denali. It's your fault. You knew it.
Yeah.
He
I
lit
knew
the
it.
fuse and just stood back to watch it burn.
He did.
Yes. I'm the lesser man. I watch other people burn. Anyways, MGM Studios projects 40% earning drop amid Epic's Now launch. So basically, they're saying most of their earnings and income is going to be 4% less. The Epic Now streaming services that they're trying to do is at $5.99, which is lower than what they were hoping to do to promote more subscribers, because subscribers are not flocking in to watch their amazing shows.
Well, I didn't even know it existed, so that tells you
Yeah,
how well they're doing.
Exactly. So it's, and I think it's going to even be worse because now Disney has put their own prices up as well, which is, I think, the other news that we put it in there as well.
Well, the interesting thing with MGM is, didn't they just sign the Russos away as well?
They did.
Yes.
They did. We talked about that.
I think there's something more to that than them just wanting them to make remakes. I think they have some plan, some bigger plan they plan on. MGM's been around a long time. They've seen the business ebb and flow in unbelievable directions. So I don't think they're just going to waltz off into the darkness without putting up a fight.
Joe
Weren't they
Maroney
almost bankrupt a couple years ago?
Yep.
Joe Maroney continues. He says, "Oh, I know why. I've been doing this since 1996. I know better. I've been saying this stuff for over 20 years, mostly Cassandra-like in socialist Philadelphia. Oh, God. Good to hear others picking up the pace. Talk about zombies in Oz is my reward to myself." Okay.
Speaking of zombies in Oz. Everybody listening to this should go check that out from our guest tonight. It's a fantastic looking book.
Yeah. The Zombieful World of Oz.
Yep. Sorry about that, Eric. I didn't know it was going to go that direction.
Live now on Kickstarter.
Yes, live now on Kickstarter. We did get a little bit sidetracked there. But nevertheless, guys, thank you very much for coming. Of course, go check out Eric's piece here, The Zombieful World of Oz, a steampunk horror adventure. Looks really nice and is very affordable. Definitely go check this out. Also, keep in mind that we also have the Tales from Beyond the Gate. It's got 3 days left, so go over there and back that. We're real close to getting our goal. We would love to be happy like Eric is and have our goal hit. So definitely please go check out the Tales from Beyond the Gate and support us the best you can. Even if you can't support us, or even if you do support us, please hit those share buttons and try to get as many people in as possible. We got 3 days left. We really need to push that and get that. We definitely had some action the past few days, so we need a few $1,000s to get that over. So help us do that, please, please, please. But other than that, of course, we have a slew of shows which are coming up that Denali is going to, of course, mention in a moment. But first, does anybody here have some last comments about Eric's book here?
I just have one, and it's just another promotion of it. It looks fantastic. It's what I want to see out of this new comic space, whatever you want to call it, where the book's ready to go or very close to ready to go before we even see it. I like that. I think should be what goes moving forward. And this is just a very clever. All these characters are cleverly designed. I really like them. I think this is a good one. People should not miss. You guys should definitely check this one out.
Cool. Anything to say, George?
Great. Thank you.
Ditto.
Sweet.
Thank
Denali?
you.
Just a moment. No, I mean, it's The Wizard of Oz. It's horrific. He just added zombies to it, and it's going to be a good time. You know, if you like horror, and if you want to share that with your family and your kids, and you want to show them, hey, here's some horrific imageries, get the book and have a blast.
Sure. I do have one question before we leave. Is this a one-off story, or have you mapped out many more books?
He said that 3 times.
At least,
sorry.
at least 3 books are mapped out. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So Good night.
In the
Good
movie,
night, folks, from Nick W. Yeah, no, me personally, seeing as the looming apocalypse is coming, why not read Zombies in Oz? I think that's perfect. Keep you warm at night, and I think it's a good-looking book. I like the design as well. I agree with Thundar completely. I think he's got really cool character designs, and I know from talking to Eric, he took a long time to design this and make decisions and stuff like that. So it is a cool-looking book. Definitely go over and back it. But of course, also check out IndieCron and supporting those books you think you like. We definitely want to keep this momentum going on the indie revival that's happening. And just before I turn it over to Denali, let me just check back with the wife. Hey, baby. Hey, baby. Hi. I love you. She said, damn it, you don't love me anymore. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Well, there it is. This is a note. You got to write this
Live
down.
divorce.
Yes.
Live
Do not
divorce
talk
here
about
on
the
Fans.
shortness of your women's legs. They don't like it. All right. Goodness gracious. Anyway, Denali, that's your cue. Give us the information and take us out, man.
All right. Well, thank you, Eric, for joining us as our guest and sharing your book with us. It's succeeding. I wish much success for this project and your future projects as well. Be Bunny Vision movie night where we'll be watching Mothra. And then we're going to get the tinfoil talk with the UFOs.
Yes, UFOs.
And the New World Order.
Oh my God,
Or
Denali. You're doing it again. All right.
But remember, your perception shapes your reality, so always make it a good one.
Namaste. Later, guys.
Aloha.